Good morning, all. So, welcome back to the course Analog Circuits. So, in the previous few sessions, we discussed the section 1 of the MOSFET, that is the model 2, that is about the application of MOSFET as an amplifier. Okay, so common source, common drain amplifiers we have seen, and problems also we have looked at. Okay, so today we'll see the MOSFET internal capacitances. So very first we discussed the MOSFET structure. Okay, so how it is constructed. Okay, how is its operation, everything, and there from there onwards, whatever we discussed, biasing. Okay, small signal operation model. Okay, hybrid phi model. Okay, all these things we have discussed. Okay, but nowhere we consider the capacitances into picture. So why we have not considered? Because in the beginning only, if we consider the capacitances, the analysis is difficult, so you'll get confused. Okay, that's why step by step we are learning. So now this is the stage we'll be including the even the internal capacitances also. So when capacitance come into picture, there is a new model comes there, high frequency model. Okay, so actually we are learning here high frequency model. So in that there are number of capacitances comes into picture. So that's why first we'll understand the capacitances part, and then we'll see the model. Okay, so there is a long discussion. That's what we will discuss today. Okay, the MOSFET internal capacitances. Okay, so from our study of the physical operation of the MOSFET, very first I took you extra 2 classes for understanding the MOSFET. So we know that the device has internal capacitances. Okay, in fact we used one of these, the gate to channel capacitance. So the structure, you remember, I will show you the picture once again. So in our derivation of the MOSFET IV characteristics, we derived a derivation I shown you, right? ID equal to 1 by 2 Kn dash W by L. Okay, V GS minus VT whole square. This is a derivation. In that we have learnt about that. Okay, what is that? Gate to channel capacitance, COX. Okay, so COX we have gone through. Okay, so it is an oxide layer, capacitance at the oxide layer and the channel. Okay, in the structure. Okay, so that is the first capacitance we have considered. We'll look at these. Okay, we did, however, implicitly assume that the steady state charges on these capacitances are acquired instantaneously. Or in other words, we did not account for the finite time required to charge and discharge the various internal capacitances. So capacitances are storing devices, right? So as the power comes, it will charge. As the power goes, it will discharge, right? So this charging and discharging will normally happen with capacitor. Okay, and we did not account that finite time, okay, which is required to charge and discharge the various internal capacitances so far. Okay, so that's what we will do here. So what is the structure, just to recall? Okay, if you have the notes, you can look at or look at here. Okay, so this is the structure we have seen. This is the MOSFET structure you had. So how it is constructed? It is having a p-type substrate or a body we call. So in that we made a diffused regions. Okay, one is n plus, two n plus diffused regions we form, and one we through the connected as drain, and another is source. And then above that oxide layer is put, a silicon oxide layer with thickness TOX. Okay, and then a metal is placed. Okay, and that metal is connected as a third electrode gate. Okay, and here this is a body, that is the surface where it is holding the device. So that is called as body and made a terminal body. Okay, so most of the time we will discuss about only 3 terminals. All these things we have discussed. Okay, so 2 n plus regions and a p-type substrate. So how the operation begins here? Okay, so now this is a normal case where there is no gate voltage or drain voltage. It is in the unbiased state. So in that case, so we told that there is a capacitance exists here. What is that capacitance? Gate to channel. Which is the gate here? So this side is the gate, right? So this side is the gate. And where is the channel formation will happen? So when you apply a fixed VGS and you apply a small VDS, so there is a channel formation happens here, right? So there is a channel formation, and it is nothing but the n plus electrons are diffused here. Okay, and whatever p-type holes are there, they are pushed downwards, right? All these operations we have known. So because of that, there is a virtual channel. Okay, physically there is no channel, virtually a channel is formed, it is called as N channel. Okay, that's why it is called as N channel MOSFET. And between this and gate, there exists a capacitance, and that capacitor dielectric acts as here oxide. Okay, silicon oxide, and its thickness is TOX. Okay, and also we will consider the silicon oxide permittivity to calculate the capacitance. Okay, so that also we have seen very. Okay, permittivity is epsilon OX we have considered, which is nothing but the relative permittivity and absolute permittivity. Okay, so that calculation is also there, we'll look at. Okay, so this is what I am mentioning about. We looked at one of the capacitances. Okay, such many capacitances are there now. So between the source and body, between the drain and the body, between the drain and gate, between the source and gate, like that. Okay, so we'll be looking at number of capacitances exist in this structure. Okay, so which we have not considered so far. As a result, the device models we derived, such as the small signal model, right, so far we have done, do not include any capacitances. We have not looked at any capacitances so far. So the use of these models would predict constant amplifier gains independent of frequency. The use of these models would predict constant amplifier gains independent of frequency. So now we'll consider the frequency aspect. However, we know that this is not the case. In fact, the gain of every MOSFET amplifier falls at some high frequency. Okay, all the amplifier, so they will be having the shape like this. So it will be increasing for certain frequency, and then it will maintain a constant frequency range, and at some high frequency all the MOSFET amplifiers falls off. Okay, like this. So then you will take a 3 dB cutoff, and from that you will measure the bandwidth of the amplifier. Okay, so 3 dB cutoff, you will find out the lower and upper cutoff, and these break off, okay, or this fall down in the MOSFET amplifier gain is due to the internal capacitances. Okay, that's what we'll learn. Similarly, the MOSFET digital logic inverter. Okay, so inverter, you know, right, not gate. So which will be constructed from the MOSFET itself, right? I told you one NMOS and PMOS MOSFET. So this is the symbol you have seen for inverter. Okay, so that exists a finite non-zero propagation delay. Okay, so non-zero propagation means what? There is a some value of propagation delay exists from transition from 0 to 1. Okay, so all these things are we have not considered. We have considered it is immediately will happen. To be able to predict these results, okay, all these results, the MOSFET model must be augmented by including internal capacitances, because who is the storing capability is having? Capacitors, right? They will charge and discharge. Okay, even if in your house you have seen the battery, okay, or inverter you have, right? So when the current is not there, the inverter battery, it will discharge, right? So discharge its charge and it will give the current, right? And when the current comes, it will do the charging process, right? Even your mobile, right, battery you are using, it will discharge, and when it goes very low, you will put it to charge, right? So that is the thing. So it will take time, right? Immediately if you put to the socket, your mobile will not get fully charged, right? It is taking a time. Okay, so the same way here we have to consider small time also, big time also. Okay, for that capacitance plays the major role. Okay, that's what our discussion here. Okay, in this MOSFET aspect. So there are basically two types of internal capacitances in the MOSFET. Okay, we will basically look at these two types of capacitances. One is the gate capacitive effect. Okay, and so this we'll look at in detail. Okay, so just I will mention now, and later I will detail how we calculate this, determine this, everything we will see. The gate electrode I shown you in the diagram, right? The gate electrode I told you, which is normally a polysilicon. Okay, the material used for gate electrode is normally a polysilicon. So this forms a parallel plate capacitor with the channel. I shown you how a channel forms a virtual channel, and through which there is a polysilicon material, there is a capacitance exists, with the oxide layer serving as the capacitor dielectric. This also I mentioned. Okay, so one side gate electrode, another side channel, and in between oxide layer, silicon oxide layer is acting as your dielectric, and its value for unit area is denoted as COX. So this is the capacitance of that. Okay, gate capacitive effect is denoted by this capacitance value. Okay. Then the second type of internal capacitances is between the source and the body and the drain and the body. So where is the source and drain? So there is a structure, right? N plus regions are there. Same way here, N plus region is there. One is source, one is drain here, right? So you know this. One side source electrode is connected, another is drain. And both this formed where? Above the body, right? So this is the body. Okay. So now this source to body and this drain to body, there is an internal capacitance. There are depletion layer capacitances exist. Okay. So these are the capacitances of the reverse biased PN junctions. Okay. Formed by the N plus source region and the P-type substrate. Okay. One is N plus region and the P-type substrate. Another is the N plus drain region and the P-type substrate. Okay. So due to reverse biased PN junctions, these capacitances will come into picture. Okay. So these two types of internal capacitances we will be considering. So together, if we consider individually these capacitances, there are total 5 capacitances comes into picture. Okay. And we'll consider one by one. Okay. These two capacitive effects can be modeled by including capacitances in the MOSFET model between its 4 terminals. Okay. So when we consider these 4 terminals and these two effects, okay, two types of effect. One is gate capacitive effect. Another is the source to body and the drain to body depletion layer capacitances. Okay. So these effects we'll consider with 4 terminals. What are the 4 terminals of the MOSFET? One is gate, drain, source, and the body. Body is nothing but the P-type substrate. That also is considered one of the terminal. Okay. So there will be 5 capacitances in total. Okay. So how it is denoted? So between gate to source. Okay. So imagine that picture, whatever I shown you very first. Remember that from gate to source, there is a capacitance denoted as CGS. There is a capacitance from gate to drain. Okay. Denoted as CGD. Okay. And there is a capacitance from gate to P-type substrate, that is body, CGB. Okay. And similarly, with source to body, there is a capacitance. Similarly, drain to body, there is a capacitance. So together, 5 capacitances are there in total. So we need to calculate. Okay. So gate to source, gate to drain, then gate to body, source to body, drain to body. Okay. So like that, we have 5 capacitances which plays the major role in MOSFET high frequency calculation. Okay. So here where the subscript indicate the location of the capacitance in the model. So this subscript only indicate where these capacitance will exist in the model. Okay. So gate to source, gate to drain. You already seen the hybrid 5 model of the MOSFET. So you have seen the gate, drain, and source terminals. So in between that, these capacitances will come into picture. I will show you the model at the end. So first we'll understand these capacitances, their definition, their determination, how we do everything. Okay. So in the following, we show how the values of the 5 model capacitances can be determined. That's we'll first intention, and then we'll do so by considering each of the 2 capacitive effects separately. Okay. So it is a 2 capacitive effect, gate capacitive, and that in that only these capacitance will be considered. Okay. So in the gate capacitive effect, the first 3 capacitances will come into picture. Okay. So the gate to source, gate to drain, okay, and the gate to body. So just a minute. Gate to drain and gate to body, it will come under first capacitive effect, gate capacitive effect. And this comes under source to body and drain to body capacitive effect, these 2 resistances. Okay. So that's how we'll study that under the same. First one, gate capacitive effect. So we'll try to find out the 3 capacitances value here under this category. The gate capacitive effect can be modeled by the 3 capacitances. Okay. The first 3, as I mentioned, CGS, gate to source, gate to drain, and the gate to body. Okay. Or P-type substrate. The values of these capacitances are determined as follows. Okay. So one by one, we'll be calculating. The very first we'll calculate when the MOSFET is operating in the triode region. What is the triode region? You have to recall now MOSFET operation. Okay, so we had a triode region, very initial state, and then it goes to saturation region. Okay, so when you have a fixed VGS value and there is a small VDS when you have applied, so there is a channel is formed, right? So that is the region we call triode region. Okay, and when the MOSFET is operating in the triode region, okay, so at small VDS, so when it is operating, when the small VDS is applied, the channel will be of uniform depth. The channel formation is uniform, right, from drain to source. The gate channel capacitance will be then WLCOX. That will be given as uniform, no? That's why both are at the same value and can be modeled by dividing it equally between the source and drain ends. Okay, so thus, so its total value is this much. It is equally divided among gate to source and gate to drain. Okay, because it is uniform depth, no? That's why CGS equal to CGD value equal to 1/2 WLCOX. Okay, that is in the case of when the MOSFET is operating in triode region. We have studied 4 different aspects of the MOSFET operation, right? Very first, it is reverse bias, right? Just a very first picture I have shown. Second thing, we will apply a small gate, okay, so that the p-type holes will be moved downwards and there is a channel formation. And then what we'll do, we'll fix the VGS value and we'll apply a small VDS so that there is a current flow from drain to source. Okay, that is called as triode region. Okay, and in that triode region, the capacitance CGS and CGD value is equal to 1/2 WLCOX. Okay, I hope you are able to understand. So this is obviously an approximation. Okay, all the modeling what we do, it is an approximation. Okay, so but works well for triode region operation even when VDS is not small. Okay, so this is the value it works for triode region operation even when the VDS is not small. Okay, so this is about the first calculation when the MOSFET is in triode region. Similarly, when the MOSFET is in saturation region, what is the saturation region? So just I will show you what is the triode region. See here, this is the picture. Okay, there is a fixed VGS you applied there, and then you have applied a small VDS. Because of that, what happened? There is a current flow from drain to source. Okay, so this is the thing, and that's why the source current is equal to drain current we have mentioned. Okay, so this is that K we call triode region. So in that region, the capacitance value of the gate to source. What is that gate to source? So between this, okay, so here there is a capacitance exists gate to source, and here there is a capacitance exists called as gate to drain. It is called as CGD and it is CGS. Okay, and they are equal to 1/2 WLCOX. What is W? The width of the channel, length of the channel L, and COX is the capacitance here. Okay, it will be calculated using the thickness of this oxide layer here and the permittivity. Okay, so you'll see that calculation later. So this is about the triode region operation. So next, second calculation, when the MOSFET operates in the saturation, the channel has a tapered shape and is pinched off at or near the drain end. So this you have seen. Okay, I will show you pictures. See here. So the same structure, so there is a fixed VGS and now VDS value is increased. There is no small VDS. So if you keep increasing the VDS value, slowly what happens, this uniform channel, whatever we have mentioned, it will take a V shape. Okay, it will take a tapered shape, and finally what happens, it will move to a state where there is no path for current to flow from drain to source. Okay, so this is the case of the saturation region. Because of that, in the characteristics, the drain current will come constant, right? So this you have seen the characteristics. So this is the triode region characteristics, and after this we call that as a saturation region. Okay, so I hope you can recall this, whatever we have discussed so far. Okay, that's what I'm mentioning here. So it can be shown that the gate to channel capacitance, in this case is approximately 2/3 WLCOX. Not it is 1/2 now, it is 2/3. Okay, and it is approximation. Okay, so it is some based on some calculation it is given, so that clear derivation is not there for you. Okay, and can be modeled by assigning this entire amount to CGS. It completely belongs to CGS because at the drain end it is pinched off, right? And a 0 amount to CGD. Now it is not a equal share now, okay, because the channel is pinched off at the drain side. So thus, so the value of share, okay, out of 2/3, it will be given to the CGS, 2/3 WLCOX. So this is there basically, okay, WL into COX, it is there for all the capacitances. But now based on the operation of the MOSFET, in triode region, it is equally divided among CGS and CGD. But now in saturation region, it is 2/3 for CGS and CGD, it is 0. Okay, so because there is no path there, right? So that's why it is the case. Okay. So now next case, we'll consider the cutoff region. Okay. So this is the saturation region. Next, cutoff region means what? So there is no channel appears there. Channel is disappeared, the very first case. Okay. So when the MOSFET is cut off, meaning what? VDS is not applied and VGS also not applied. So the channel will disappear there. Okay. And then there is no capacitance exist. So CGS value equal to CGD value is equal to 0. However, we can model the gate capacitive effect by assigning a capacitance WLCX to the gate body model capacitance. So now between the gate to source and gate to drain, there is no capacitance, but there is a P-type substrate, right? That is called as body. So that can have a value of total complete value, that is WL into COX. Okay, that is the third capacitances. Okay, and these will be 0. So this is about the 3 capacitances. Okay, CGS, CGD, and CGB in the case of cutoff, triode, and saturation region. Okay, so now there is one more point. So along with these capacitance, there is something called as overlap capacitance, which we need to add it to all the equations. I have given every time equation numbers, right? 1 to 5. So all these equations, we need to consider this additional capacitance. Okay, even in the calculation also we have to do that. We'll show you one problem. Okay, so I started off with this CGS CGD equal to 1 by WL COX. That is the triode region 1 equation, and there are equation 2 and 3 I have shown you for saturation. For cutoff, equation 4 and 5. I've shown you 5 equations. So there is an additional small capacitive component that should be added to this CGS CGD in the all the preceding formulas. For CGS and CGD where you have, okay, so you need to add these small capacitive components. So this is the capacitance that results from the fact that the source and drain diffusions extend slightly under the gate oxide. So this is under the condition that source and drain sides diffusions, they little bit extend, okay, under the gate oxide. Okay, so we could not say fixed, right? So it will slightly, because when the operation is happening, when you apply a gate voltage, there is a chances of this attracting towards the gate channel. Okay, so that because of that, this capacitance will call, and this we call it as the if the overlap length is denoted LOV. Okay, so earlier case just L we have considered, that is the length of the channel. Now this is the overlap length. Okay, LOV we will denote, and then we call this as overlap capacitance. Okay, extended one. Okay, extended under the gate oxide only at the source and drain diffusions. Okay, so you have 2 N plus regions, right? Source and drain. So at this place there is a extension will happen, and that extended length we call it as LOV, and that extended capacitance we call overlap capacitance, and which is given as COV equal to WLOV into COX. Same as earlier WLCOX, but L becomes now LOV, and this LOV normally have a value of 0.05 to 0.1 times L. Okay, it is little less than the L value. Okay, not the same L. Okay, 0.05 to 0.1, in that range its value will be there. Okay, so this capacitance equation 6 should be added with equation 1 2 3 4. Okay, so you have to add it, not for the gate to body capacitance, only for the all the preceding formulas you have to include that. That is the 4th point in the under the gate capacitive effect. Okay, next, the second type of capacitances we consider junction capacitances. Okay, So this is nothing but the reverse biased PN junctions. Okay, so in the diode aspect, when you are learning in electronic devices, okay, or basic electronics, so you may be heard about reverse biased PN junctions, but you have not considered maybe capacitance aspect. Okay, so if you have considered this formula, would you have seen? Okay, the depletion layer capacitances, okay, of the two reverse biased PN junctions formed between each of the source and the drain diffusions and the body can be determined using this formula. So this is the formula, it is there in diode discussion. So from there only I have taken this. Okay, so what is meant by this we'll understand with the actual formula here. Okay, so there are two n plus diffusion regions are there in your p-type substrate. Okay, in the MOSFET, one is source we have denoted, another is drain. Accordingly we call that as source diffusion and drain diffusions, and they are placed above the body, right, p-type substrate. So because of that, so they will be, and we have told that that capacitance will exist during the reverse biased PN junctions, and that will be shown by this formula. So this is at the capacitance at the 0th value, and this VR is nothing but the reverse voltage. So when the capacitance diode will go reverse bias, when you apply a reverse voltage, right? So that reverse voltage we call it as VR, and M is called as the grading coefficient. It can be 2, 3, 4, like that you can give. So here we'll assume it as 2. Okay, so this is the formula. Based on that only I will calculate the remaining two capacitance. What is that? Source to body and drain to body, CSB and CDB, I will calculate. See here, thus for the source diffusion we have the body capacitance CSB. Okay, source to body capacitance, and it is calculated from that same formula, CSB 0 divided by square root of, because there it was there 1 plus VSB by naught to the power m. Now m I have considered as 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 means what? It is square root 1 plus VSB by V naught. Okay, so here the CSB 0 is the value of CSB at the 0 body source bias. Okay, so CJO we have considered, no, same way it is CSBO. Okay, at 0 body CSB 0 it is. Okay, source bias, and the VSB here is the magnitude of the reverse bias voltage. Okay, so because of it is source to body, that's why VSB is mentioned in capital everything. Okay, reverse bias voltage, and V naught is the junction built-in voltage. So that is the reverse bias PN junction built-in voltage. It is normally in the range 0.6 to 0.8 volt. Even in the problem when they give this value, it will be given in this range only, 0.6 to 0.8 volt for a diode. Okay, built-in voltage. Similarly for the drain diffusion, this is for the source diffusion, we have seen CSB equal to CSB 0 by this one. Similarly for drain diffusion, we have the drain body capacitance denoted as CDB. Okay, this is the fourth and fifth capacitances we are discussing in the MOSFET internal capacitances under the heading junction capacitances. Okay, so same way this formula also looks like CDB equal to CDB 0 divided by square root of 1 plus VDB by V naught. Okay, so VDB is drain to body indication. Okay, so CDB 0 is the capacitance value at 0 reverse bias voltage, and VDB is the magnitude of this reverse bias voltage. So VDB is the reverse bias voltage and CDB 0 is the capacitance value at this 0 bias reverse bias voltage. Okay, hope you are understanding. Okay, we not already told same thing, it is a cut-in voltage 0.6 to 0.8. So in all the cases, note that we have assumed for both the junctions the grading coefficient m is equal to 1 by 2. That's why you have the square root here. In case grading coefficient is 1 by 3, it will come cube root. If it is 1 by 4, then it is quadratic root, right? So like that it will change the scenario. And it should be noted also that each of these junction capacitances includes a component arising from the bottom side of the diffusion. Okay, and a component arising from the side walls of the diffusion. Okay, so there is a diffusion you are doing in the body part, right? So this is the p-type substrate is there. Okay, so there are many other aspects are there. So one is at the bottom side. So one is at the bottom side, it may exist the capacitance. Also it may exist from the side walls. Okay, side walls of the diffusion. So in this regard, observe that each diffusion has 3 side walls. Each of these diffusion has 3 side walls that are in contact with the substrate. Okay, so 3 side it is connected to the substrate, p-type substrate, and thus contribute to the junction capacitance. So that's why they are contributing. And the 4th wall is in contact with the channel. Okay, so you have seen the diagram, right? So I shown you many times. So this is how it is there, p-type substrate. Okay, a small I will show you. In that you have formed the 2 n plus diffusion regions. One is source, one is drain. So that's why source diffusion and drain diffusion regions we call. So here 3 side. Okay, 3 sides of the walls, they are connected to the body, and the 4th wall is connected to the gate. Okay, the 4th wall is contact with the channel. Okay, so it may be this also, channel is here. Okay, so this is the channel it is formed, so where it is placing. In more advanced MOSFET modeling, the 2 components of each of the junction capacitances are calculated separately. In advanced MOSFET modeling, so these capacitances will be calculated separately. Okay, the formulas for the junction capacitances in equation 7 and 8 assume small signal operation. So same way we have assumed small signal operation. Because of that, its formula looks like this. In case if we consider large signal operation, so then the formula will change and the calculation will go different. Okay, so this is about the aspect of different various internal capacitances in the MOSFET. Okay, so in the next class we will see this problem based on these different various capacitances, and we look at the hybrid phi model also, sorry, high frequency model also we look at. Okay, so quickly recap so what we have done so far. Okay, so we have not considered the capacitive effect in our device structure of the MOSFET. Okay, so that's why we have considered that capacitances, okay, which exist between the various diffusion regions and the body, okay, in the construction of the MOSFET. Okay, so they will be categorized under 2 things. One is gate capacitive effect, another is the source body and drain body depletion layer capacitance. Depletion layer, diffusion, okay, all these are same terms. Okay, capacitances. So under gate capacitive effect, there will be 3 resistances will come, sorry, capacitances: gate to source, gate to drain, and when there is no channel formation will be done, then the 3rd capacitor will come, that is drain to body. Okay, based on the operation, cutoff, triode, and saturation we have discussed. And another 2 comes under junction capacitance, or source to body and drain to body depletion layer capacitances. Okay, so that is what we have done. Okay, so for a triode region it will be equally shared. Okay, the gate to source and gate to drain capacitance. And when it is taking tapered shape, so CGD will be 0, CGS will be 2/3 of WLCOX is the value. And then when cutoff region, so the gate to source and gate to drain will not have any capacitance value, whereas the gate to body, that is the 4th terminal, will have WLCOX as the value. And along with these capacitances, there is a additional capacitance called as overlap capacitance exists, which is given by this formula, which will be added to all these preceding formulas in your calculation. Okay, and then junction capacitances will be calculated as reverse bias PN junctions capacitance. Okay, so it will be given by this formula for source diffusion and this for drain diffusion. Okay, so that is about the MOSFET internal capacitances. Okay, so in the next class we will see the problem and the hybrid phi model of this. Okay.